back to another wonderful edition of the Inside Out Show. Of course, here on this show, we basically deal with lives and the society. We look for the best ways to change lives, to change the society by the topics we discuss. So once again, welcome to the show. Right. And not forgetting my audience, of course, they're always here with me. And of course, Charles. Charles, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
Who made that outfit? It's lovely.
You'll be shocked if I told you who made it.
Who made it?
I did. Put your hands together for me, guys.
What?
I tried.
You designed it?
Yes.
Or you made it?
I designed and I made. Yes, I did.
Like,
put your hands together for me again. I'm feeling myself. Yes.
I come and learn work from you.
Huh?
I should come and learn work.
Yes, you should though. Yes,
no,
but you
really,
pay me. It's not free. You pay.
You made it.
Yes, I did. I thought to just try, and yeah, it came out beautiful. Thank you.
I mean, guys, this outfit is lovely. Charles, you should actually study designing. Maybe you end up making my clothes, like styling me for the show.
Of course, with plenty of money.
I mean, I still have my DJ review, and I love DJ, but I mean, you
okay,
know.
No problem.
All right, so moving on to the serious part, which is what this show basically is about. Today we're discussing greener pastures. Now, sometime last year, we had this incident, this news that broke, was CNN broke it, about the slave trade still going on at this time in Libya. And a lot of those people, hundreds of them, or maybe even thousands, are Nigerians. Each year, hundreds and thousands of people lose their lives while trying to, especially Africans, trying to migrate to Europe or the United States of America or different parts of the world. So the question we intend to tackle during the show is, how did we get here, and is the grass really greener on the other side? So we tend to tackle and try as much as we can to answer all these questions during the show. Now, before we introduce our panelists, we will introduce our panelists right after we take a look at this video. See you on the other side.
Angela Okubanjo is my name. I came from Ogun State. I'm the firstborn of my family, my mom and my daddy. All took me to Libya. It was in 2011. One of my mommy's sisters, she came back from Libya. Said, told my mom that she wants to take me to Libya. When she told my mom that we are going to Libya, my mom was very excited, even me too and my daddy, everybody in our family, that because we are suffering. I even called one of our friends, and I called him, and I told him that, what are you going to do in Libya? And I said, the guy said to me that, they don't tell you anything. And I said, he didn't tell me anything. And I said, you are going to do Ashewo. And I said, Ashewo. We spent like 40 days on the road. So when we get to Libya, Kushina said, let me tell you the truth. You came here for Ashewo. You didn't come here to come and teach any teaching. The woman will be forcing me to do, I won't do anything. So finally, my sister now came to that place. And I said, okay, if you can't do the Ashewo, that means you have to go and marry. I will not go and send you to a man that will marry you. So eventually, I was married to a Nigerian guy in Libya and stayed with him like a year and 3 months. My advice for every Nigerian that is coming to take to out of Nigeria is, don't follow them. Oh, they are a liar. They can't do anything. They will just be lying to you that they want to go and give you a better life, which means they are not giving you a better life. They want to go and give you a bitter life. It's bitter life they want to go and give you there. Don't follow them. Stay in Nigeria. Be pushing it. One day it will be good. Please don't follow them.
Welcome back. This is still the Inside Out Show, and we had to play that video because, like I said earlier, we're discussing the topic greener pastures. So it's also important that we hear from a victim, someone who's been there, that this was a victim of the Libya drama that happened in late 2017, one of the returnees. So now let's start the discussion proper. Let me introduce my panelists, starting first with Mr. Afolabi Akinola, who is the marketing manager, Unilag Radio. Thank you for being here. Moving on Mrs. Kehinde Akomlafe, who is the Commander National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking Persons. Thank you for being here. Up next, Adetola Okanlawon, Managing Director of Baker's World. Thank you for being here. And finally, Mr. Soribe, Valentine, an actor. Thank you. Okay, so let me ask you, Adetola, what would you say is greener? I mean, for the layman who we've been saying greener pasture and they don't even have an idea what it is, what would you tell them greener pastures is?
The word greener, in my definition, if you have to look at it from the contextual definition point of view, is something fresher, something. The word greener, not even pasture, something good, because it's different from dry. It's not a dry pasture; it's greener pasture. So it's just a migration. If you have to combine it together, we are looking at greener pasture. It's a migration from the unknown, from the insecure, from the baseless, from the unbelievable, to a place where you feel that all the fulfillment of life, in terms of 3 basic necessities of life, will be answered. From my own definition, extraterritorial movement from your location to overseas in search of a golden fleece, which in my understanding requires an extra mile for a better life. It is what I realize as greener pasture in my perspective.
Okay. Let me hear from you. Let me hear from you, Mrs. Akomlafe.
I would want to define greener pasture as the movement of people in search of better life. It does not have to be only outside the country. It can be movement within the country. For instance, someone coming from the grassroots area, from the rural area, going to the urban area. Either coming from up north, a rural area, and you're coming to Lagos because it's believed that there is money in Lagos, or even going to Abuja, you're seeking for greener pasture. So it's the movement.
Okay. But I would say that for the purpose of this discussion, we're looking at migration.
Yes, it doesn't have to be only within the internal context alone. It can be outside. So you have so many people going out of the country in search of greener pasture. The truth is, how green is this pasture we're talking about? Because you are living a communal environment where Nigerians are known to care for each other. But you just want to go over there because you believe anywhere outside Nigeria is better, which is just a misconception. It does not have to be.
Okay. Adetola, is that really true? Is there such a thing as a greener pasture?
Well, if you compare, so for example, you're saying you're looking for a greener pasture in, say, for example, education, right? And you go abroad to study like we did, and compared to where you're coming from, in your mind, there's a difference, there's an improvement. So I would say yes, there is
such a thing as greener pasture.
As greener pasture.
Because most people have the opinion that the grass is not always green. At the other side, the grass is greener where it's watered.
Or if you cross the next, that's the next side. What about the next side after that part? Because after the desert, there are other, countries and other places.
Okay. Valentine, this is for you. Do you believe the grass is greener at the other side? Do you believe that if you get the slightest chance to migrate or leave this country, that your life is going to get better?
Yes, I strongly believe that. With my experience in life, I believe there are a lot of opportunities out there, and I believe that I am not really comfortable here. The situation here is not really favorable for me. Example of these situations? A lot of jobless graduates, a lot of people that are looking for what to do. They are energetic, they are strong, they are ready to work, but there's nothing for them. And we see a lot of people, even those that are gainfully employed, you still see them, even the salary that are being paid is not even enough to food their bills. You still see some of them that will be working day in, day out, and they still owe them. So I believe that the greener pasture, yes, truly exists because you are migrating for a better living.
Okay, the migration. Mrs. Akomlafe, I would like you to address what he said, because I'm sure if we would have an opinion poll here, a lot of us would agree with what he said.
You said something earlier on. You said the grass is greener if it is watered. What do we mean by pasture? It's simply putting water on irrigation. When you're pouring water on the grass, it becomes greener. I don't totally agree with him, because where you believe that the economy is bad, that is where we have Dangote, one of the world's richest men. And he's still making it. There are so many other Nigerians that are still making it in the country. The people that have traveled in search of these so-called greener pastures, most of them will not come back home to tell you what they have experienced. A clear example is what you showed us in the video. It's basically human trafficking. They will be deceived and made to believe that, oh, the grass is greener on the opposite side. When they get there, what they will meet is actually a totally different ball game from what they were told.
Coming up next on the show.
The problem is that most people that are migrating are not migrating prepared.
Those people that are working as shoemakers abroad, if you ask them to come and work as shoemakers here in Nigeria, would not do it.
Nigerians will prefer to give loan to people that are going to import finished goods from abroad because they know that are going to make money immediately.
I completely agree with you based on the fact that most times these people are, you know, their mind is manipulated. Like she even said that her sister had to tell her, look, this is what you're going to do, but then if you don't opt for this, then maybe you should get married. And also a lot of people who travel would opt for doing menial jobs like shoe polishing and all of that. But then they would tell you that, look, while I'm in Nigeria, I'm not making any money. I'm hungry. Nothing is working for me, but at least if I can polish shoe and make $7 or whatever the amount, you know, and you listen to these people and you realize you're actually making sense. So how do you talk somebody like that out? Valentine, I don't know.
For you, I'm sorry, for someone that has not been there and seen it, it's easy. Those people that are moving, these innocent ones, prey on their gullibility and vulnerability. Someone that is self-made would not fall a prey to such a ploy. But someone who is ignorant, who is probably not exposed, will easily fall prey to such. I have so many people that have traveled either to the UK or even settled in the US. They are coming back to Nigeria because they found out it's easier to make your money here in Nigeria. They would work. They would work, and everything goes into taxation. They are either running as vagabonds from one authority or the other. What you can make here in Nigeria with peace of mind. Those people that are working as shoemakers abroad, if you ask them to come and work as shoemakers here in Nigeria, would not do it. Which I think
because the pay is less in Nigeria.
It's a situation of our mentality.
Out there.
It's a situation of our mentality. Tell some people abroad, even if it is Cotonou, even if it is Ghana, they would want to go anywhere outside Nigeria. That is why I said it's a function of our mentality. It does not necessarily have to do with the situation in the country. Give someone opportunities, they will make money. Even on the streets.
I think I have a different angle to the entire scenario.
Okay.
First of all, for any human being in life, you must have a product to sell. When you are migrating with a product.
Yeah.
The product could be your intellect. Intellect is a product. And it is extraterritorial, because I will give you a very good example. Someone like Professor Wole Soyinka, he was given an award as a Nobel laureate, not in Nigeria, but the product of his fecundity of imaginations, literary-wise, and in global recognitions. Someone like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, some of them also earn their reputation scholarly outside the country. The problem is that most people that are migrating are not migrating prepared. Most people that have been convinced to go to most of these countries, especially Libya and other countries, are not prepared mentally to even migrate. So for me as human being, you must work on your abilities to be relevant anywhere in the world. There's nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with migration, but are you migrating empty?
Even illegal migration?
No, not illegal. What I'm saying is that I want to differentiate one thing. There is what we call brain drain. Brain drain is also a symptom of migration. There are a lot of people, there are so many, scholarly Nigerians that are working abroad as the best medical doctors, as the best legal practitioners, as the best in most of these countries, as the best lecturer, as the best award winners outside the country. To the extent that even if they are in Nigeria, they might not be as such monetized.
Yeah.
But once you are not useful in your country, nobody will understand your relevance outside. So I will encourage most Nigerians, either a girl or a boy, because gender has nothing to do with a product. You must work on your product so that wherever you go in the world, you will be a champion. That is my argument. So prostitution is not a product. Do you understand what I'm saying? Somebody is saying you should come to his country to come and sell which product? Which product are you selling? Prostitution is not a product. And again, let me tell you something. I've been privileged to travel to so many countries. You realize that in US, you can't even be idle. Even as husband and wife, the system will encourage that you should work because you have so many bills to settle.
True.
And again, for you to travel to most of this country with stiff immigration rules, you have to face American embassy. They will interview you. Where are you going and what purpose? So when you see countries with porous immigration rules, then there is danger. So when you have a country with stiff immigration rules to check why you are coming to that country, there will be relevance in the product you are selling. So I encourage both young and girls to know that the future of Nigeria belongs to us only when we fortify our product. Our product can be sellable in Nigeria here and anywhere in the world. That's my point.
But for some reason, Valentine, let me hear you.
Yes. Still on what he said, the country, okay, let me use Nigeria, it's not giving us purpose. Because it's only when you give somebody purpose, that is when the person becomes committed. And once the person is committed, the person becomes productive. And once you're productive, you become successful, and that is when you can be impactful.
Mr. Somolafe made a valid point, which I'm actually going to build on. You have people like Dangote. Okay, let me not go for Dangote because Dangote is one of the major minority of the wealthy Nigerians, because a huge percentage of Nigerians, considering the current economy, I'm not going to lie, are suffering, right? But let's look at people who returned. We have Banky W is one of them. They got back here, like Tiwa Savage is one of them. And these are people in the public eye. There are others that we don't even know about, that while they were abroad, they were all suffering and they looked really thin. And when they got into Nigeria, they started making money, right?
Yeah.
So how about people like that?
Okay, let me give you an example. In Nigeria, if I have a business proposal and I go to the bank to get a loan, and I tell them that this business is going to stand in the next 2-3 years, they will not look at my face. They won't want to give me that loan. Despite the fact that if I stand up that business, it's going to create job opportunities for jobless people. Now, in abroad, the reverse is the case. If you bring up a proposal like that, they will come for your aid. They will help you. They will raise you money. They will give you the loan to start up the business because they know it's going to help the jobless ones. It's going to create job opportunities. Nigerians will prefer to give loan to people that are going to import finished goods from abroad because they know that are going to make money immediately. So if you look at that, that denial alone that has stopped you from raising that business that's going to employ a lot of people is one of the main reasons that is making the joblessness of this country very, very viral. That is the way I look at it.
Okay, Mrs. Komalafe, I see you that. I'll get to you, Adetola. Mrs. Komalafe, I see you seriously shaking your head.
I disagree.
Okay.
With due respect. There is Bank of Industry.
Yeah.
The Bank of Industry is doing quite a lot to help small and medium scale entrepreneurs in the country. Of recent, I got to know about a particular scheme that is working with Lagos State government. I know I have seen someone, a beneficiary of that loan. He just turned in his proposal and they ask you how much. It's in categories. Maybe 1 million, 2 million, 500,000, depending on your scheme and what business you are into. And they will give you. In fact, it's just a phone call. He just submitted, I know of two. There is one that was successful, there is one that was not successful. But at the initial stage, he got the call and he was actually supposed to complete the process. But I know someone that has increased his capital base based on what the government is doing. There are so many schemes that are available to young entrepreneurs in this country.
Are you aware of that, Valentine?
We're talking of my own brother that has gone for that more than 3 times and they refused. If you look at that story very well, let's try to be realistic here. Look at that story very well. In Nigeria, if you don't know anybody, things are not going to work that way for you.
Okay, all right. We will go on a break. Afolabi, hold on. We will go on a break. When we come back, this discussion continues. We are discussing greener pastures here on the Inside Out Show. We will be right back. Stay with us.
Coming up next on the show.
Locate the ideas or those things that you think work in those countries and see if you can replicate and make money here.
How did we get to this level of desperation? What is the government doing about it? He talked about leadership. Could you please address that?
If you're coming to me for a job and I'm asking you, what have you been doing? You graduated 3 years ago, what have you been doing? And you tell me I've been looking for work, I will not hire you.
And we are discussing greener pastures. Now, before we went on a break, we had Valentine make a very, very punchy line. The fact that, look, nobody is willing to listen to you in Nigeria if you don't know anybody. That was the point you made. Still in that line, let me throw this to you at Adetola. Yes, maybe I've heard 1 or 2 people who would say, yeah, I didn't get this because I don't know this person. And I've actually been a witness to that. That has happened to me as well. So his point is valid. So is it true that returnees are more valued than the people born and bred in this country?
Okay, well, the first one, the one that if you don't know somebody, you don't get anything. My advice is get on your knees and talk to God. He created the people in that system anyways. And that's one thing. That's one thing that has always worked for me. I've never believed that I needed to know anybody in any company for me to get what I want from them. It's never been that way. The second about people being valued, more valued than, or returnees being more valued than the locals here. Should I speak from my own experience? I wouldn't. It's
fine, use your own experience, or you could even use somebody else's experience that you are assured of.
One of the reasons why, even I'm an employee of labor, right? And I have probably about 18 people, staff working for me, working with me. For me to take you on board, he rightly said you need to have a product. If you're coming to me for a job and I'm asking you, what have you been doing? You graduated 3 years ago, what have you been doing? And you tell me I've been looking for work, I will not hire you. The reason is quite simple. You have nothing to offer me. I take up people that maybe have tried 1 or 2 things by themselves. I tried to do this, I've tried to do that, I'm like, aha, there's value, there's fire in this person. I entered when I was like 18. I made my first 1 million naira when I was 19. And what did I do? It's not like as if I looked at my parents, whether they had money or not. I didn't even need their money, I didn't even want their money. I wanted my own. I didn't want you to be saying every month you give me pocket money. I don't want that. I needed to create my own stuff. And what did I do? I started a barbecue business. Chicken. I was the first staff of my own company. Grilling. After class, I run to my barbecue shop. I cut chicken, put it on fire. People would eat, whether we like it or not. And before we knew it, I was doing cartons per day.
You asked how many
a lot of people are opportunity. The opportunities that when he mentioned, I have no objection. I know a lot of people bring out proposals and all those kind of things. You can write proposals, man, right? But the first thing is, what have you done personally? How? Have you met people within even your own circle? If your own brother cannot trust you with 100 naira to borrow you, the bank wouldn't.
Valentine, a situation where you mentioned something, Adetola, that you can sell bread and you even talked about your grilling business, right? That is an opportunity right there.
Okay.
But I think I need to respond to most of the argument canvassed so far.
Okay.
If you watch most of the countries we are talking about, no country has ever survived as far as development is concerned without a responsible government. Check it throughout history. Even the United States of America and the Euro-American society we are talking about, they are growing because they program a system that will ensure continuity and development. One, they don't have an environment that is being referred to as fire extinguisher. When you have a system that is fire extinguishing in nature, it is dangerous for ideas and development. You understand? From primary school to secondary school in US, and I'm sure in UK, is free education.
Of course.
So the burden on parenthood are being removed. So it is now left for you as a young boy or as a young girl to navigate, to fly, to demonstrate your ideas and see how you can plant a seed on a good soil for proper germination. It will embarrass you to know that I have several CVs with me. I have about 3 first class that is still looking for a job and all that. But again, the problem again in our environment is that, like I told some of my colleagues on the high table here, that even if you have a product to sell, what type of product are you selling? And let me tell you again, finally, before I put it like this, that Nigeria we have, Karl Marx, the Marxist, is a German socialist thinker. He said, the state is an instrument of the ruling class. Either you like it or not, Nigeria as a nation belongs to a class. You cannot become a governor of Lagos State or governor in Osun State without you belonging to a class. A class. We are living in a country that is highly class determinant. Either you like it or not. There are some clubs where they choose governors. So it's unfortunate that the future of our young generations, I should encourage you to use your franchise genuinely. The power to vote genuinely belongs to you. Sovereignty belongs to the Nigerian masses. Until we do away with stomach infrastructure by voting the right kind of people in government who will give us a policy that will address the need of the downtrodden and the disadvantaged, we will not get there. No nation in the world has ever developed without a good
proper
government.
leadership. Okay, now Mrs. Okanlawon, perhaps let me get your comment.
When it comes to topics like this, I'm always very indifferent because the grass is green here, and I believe it can be greener. And of course, the grass is green there,
but if you got a chance to
can be greener.
Travel out, do you think you would be more successful?
I think I can be successful anyway. I'm indifferent, truth be told. I'm one for locate the ideas or those things that you think work in those countries and see if you can replicate and make money here. Okay, I know funding can be an issue. I mean, I've experienced that firsthand where I didn't know anybody and they kicked me out of the door. You know, and you know this. I'm that person who, whatever it takes for you to get what you want, do it. I mean, I went for an interview one time, and I did everything I did. I got to the final stage, and they said, "I'm sorry, we need someone with an accent to give you this job in the media." And what did I do? I didn't go. I went home, I sulked, I cried, and I picked up an accent. And I went for the next audition job. And believe me, the minute I walked into the room, there were thousands of people, but I walked into the room and I spoke, and I said, "That's what we're looking for." And I asked why. Oh, you speak like you have been abroad before, and that was it. But I hadn't traveled at the time. And it's sad because people in Nigeria, if you're not a returnee, sort of, they don't take you seriously, especially in the kind of industry that we are in. But I still believe that it can be better. And like I said before, identify ideas that you see that work there, and try and see if you can make some money.
Yeah. I asked you that question earlier.
With all due respect, I don't want us to. We are the most religious set of people in the whole world, but less God-fearing. Let me put it this way. Fantastic idea. Do you know from sport? Everybody in Nigeria grew up to know Clement Westerhoff. It was Clement Westerhoff that internationalized Nigerian players. Is it not funny that it's only when you go abroad and you play ball that you now become richer? Even as a musician, ordinary musician here, if you are still singing in Mushin and Kwako and Wisolo, it's until you go and sing in Europe or Kwanwan and all that, where they will spray you dollars. That is when they appreciate you better. When you have good ideas and policies to sell, even in terms of proposal. One thing the white has that the black will still work on is this. Regardless of your class, they believe in the originality of your ideas.
Mrs. Akomlafe, let me throw this at you, because quite frankly, I see his point, right? Let's take football, for instance. Now, you see a lot of these young guys working hard and playing football 3 hours, 4 times a week. Why? Because I'm struggling. They don't want to join Enyimba. They don't want to join Rangers. What are those clubs in Nigeria? They don't. What they are targeting, when am I going to travel to Europe? When am I going to play for Manchester City, Leicester City, Arsenal? Thank you, Chelsea. And I'm sure if you still do an opinion poll, you will still see people like that. So how did we get to the level of this level of desperation? What is the government doing about it? He talked about leadership. Could you please address that?
Thank you. I was going to ask, if we ask everyone here, what is the driving force for wanting to go abroad in search of greener pastures? Most people will tell you poverty. Some will tell you unemployment. I'll tell you something. The government is not sleeping in this regard. I work with the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, and we are in the forefront of bringing in Nigerians in Libya. I've been privileged to see so many Nigerians that were either deported or who are voluntary returnees, whom the government has empowered, as far as even renting shops for them and giving them generating sets so you can have power. A few weeks after the empowerment, you get there, those people are nowhere to be found. In fact, at a point I was counseling some of them, they told me point blank, Auntie, will they go back? They were brought from Mali. I said, what is the attraction? They told me they were married to Malians. Now, will you call that poverty? Can't we look at greed? Can't we look at laziness? Can't we look at the get-rich-quick syndrome as being responsible?
Valentine. Coming up next on the show.
The doctors that are successful abroad, most of them Nigerians, actually have their background in public universities.
The Nigerian government, please be sincere, until we make a law in the National Assembly and pass it. No Nigerian leader should have any of their children studying abroad. Then until then we get there.
Greed, laziness, get-rich syndrome. I've heard a couple of people talk about traveling out, and you can actually tell maybe this person is a bit too lazy. We want a life made easier. I want to blow sharp.
Okay, let me expatiate on that. First of all, talking about the government, if you look at this country is a member of OPEC, the oil-producing country, which we have Venezuela, we have Libya, we have Iran, and what have you. And if you look at the way they are doing, they are better off they are better off. We are producing that, but it's not helping our economy in any way. Why? Because there are some people that are in that position that are supposed to be spreading this thing. They are considering the money for their own personal use. When we talk about someone being lazy, when you come out from school, you try this, no way, you try this, no way, look at the economy, no way. Even the money that they're paying you in some menial jobs that you're doing cannot even buy you bread to take home. Look at how everything in the country is very expensive. Even the fuel that we're talking about, so many people cannot even afford. So many people have parked their cars at home. So many people cannot even survive with food stuff. They cannot even pay house rent. People staying under the bridge because of the poverty level. You struggle and go to school, you train yourself, you do this and do that, and after everything, you still come back and start from square one. But in abroad, when you talk about polishing shoes, when you talk about washing plates, some people even go as far as washing dead bodies to make money. But because of our self-pride here, most of those jobs, some graduates cannot do it here. But when you do them there, they pay you $500, they pay you $600. I know people that are doing it, and they've built upstairs here. And but those people cannot do it. But when they come back, you think they're working in oil companies over there. Because we're talking about hard currency. Check it out, their $100 there is about 36 or 37,000 naira in there. So talking about someone that is doing all those menial jobs because they are always available there. Most of the people there in Australia, Canada, and other countries that have experienced are lazy. They cannot do all those things. They need people to wake up in the morning, come and wash their place, come and do this, and they give them all those money. So if you're strong and you're ready to work, there is always work there for you. But when you try this and try that and try that, so many people become lazy because they're like, I've tried everything, I just feel like I want to die. But there they've given them the purpose, they've given them a reason, and those opportunities are there. So you must be hardworking and you will make it. But even if you pay all those taxes, you pay your bills there, you still have enough change because you're dealing with hard currency to still send back to the people at home to take care of themselves and even raise structures for you.
He said something which I don't know if we all got it, but that abroad that you get, Adetola, if you agree with him, please kindly state it, that abroad you get more reward for your values, for your talents, and for your effort, which if we actually go through, we have examples. We have people like Chimamanda, who all the while she was a writer here, Purple Hibiscus and all that. Nobody, I mean the books she wrote before Purple Hibiscus, nobody really heard of it. And then Purple Hibiscus, boom, half of a year goes on, she moved outside of Nigeria. You know, and then there are a couple of other examples which I can't really think of right now, but I know they are there. And it's like the second they left Nigeria, they blossomed.
Yeah. The issue is that some time ago we were saying Ghana must go, right? Go, Ghana, leave this country, go. Now, it is time for Ghana to even say Nigeria must go.
Yes, yes.
It's an irony of development.
Yes, everybody.
You understand? What I'm saying is this, and I think we have to be honest with ourselves. Like what Madam has said is fantastic. I think the Nigerian government should do what we call rehabilitation. There is this psychological trauma that once you are coming from abroad, maybe you were deported and all that, you've seen yourself first and foremost as a failure. So even if you are established, one way or the other, the trauma is still with you. That, so you have come back. We thought we even make it. Now you've been deported. So the government, before you even empower anybody, try and work on their rehabilitation. And I want us to be honest with ourselves. Nigeria should make a law. You said you are empowering people, you are helping people. None of your children are attending any of our public schools in Nigeria as a leader.
Abroad. All of them.
None of your children, in fact, your children, some of them will be coming to Nigeria as an expatriate. They'll be employed from abroad as an expatriate to come and work here.
And once they come, they get jobs like that.
With their influence, multinationals. Some Nigerians are being employed as an expatriate. That's why I don't want you to look at it from the angle of a white man alone. So, the Nigerian government, please be sincere. Until we make a law in the National Assembly and pass it, no Nigerian leader should have any of their children studying abroad. There until then we get there.
In as much as we believe the government has its role, can we ask ourselves, who is the government? You and I are the government. Even in our mind, in our little position, how sincere are we? If you have someone to come to work, abroad, you work for every penny you earn. It's not where you will come to work at 11 o'clock. By 2 o'clock, you're going out. We're talking of your personality, what you have inside of you. And then if you are given the opportunity, some people will say, I even did overtime. When in actual fact, you know that you did only 4 hours. You will never get paid if you are abroad because you clock in and you clock out. How many of us, when we are supposed to be at our duty post, are actually not Facebooking? How many of us are not on Instagram, where you are supposed to work? Abroad, you are not even allowed sometimes to go into your office with your phones. You cannot call. So for me, it's a case of personal development. The nation makes you, but what is the product? He said it. What have you done for yourself to develop yourself? The people, the doctors that are successful abroad, most of them Nigerians, actually have their background in public universities. The doctor that had the brain surgery last year is a product of OAU, Ife. Yes, it's a product of OAU. If you ask him deeper, he might be a product from a public primary school. What can you do for your country? It is not always what can my country do for me. The country is trying. Let us forget it. We have terrible leaders. But then, even we in our little positions as leaders, either as a class prefect in the secondary school or as a rep in the university, how sincere are we? What are we doing to improve ourselves and develop ourselves even for the outside world? It is what you have inside of you that you sell to the outside world.
Traveling is part of education. I don't really have any problem with traveling.
That's if you have, because traveling is expensive.
So it's part of education. It's
traveling outside of the country.
When you travel, you learn more. But the idea is that I'm appealing to Nigerian women because every woman has private parts, but not economic value. You must build something on your economic value because either you like it, you are a mother, you are a sister, because our parents are much more important to us when the word helpmate is well pronounced in the originality of talent. As if you look at the last video we watched, you will see that most people that were migrating illegally were ladies, girls, mostly because of prostitution. The statistics ratio compared to men is lower. So I will encourage
I actually read a research that stated that people who were manipulated to travel mostly are women that
because they have a product.
More. Yes, but then the people who take the conscious decision to migrate are men. Men are more conscious, women are manipulated into
the issue is because the woman has an illegal product to sell over there, which is prostitution. Okay, you know what? So you must sell productive products. Don't sell unproductive products. Please, my dear young girls, the future of Nigeria belongs to you both at home and abroad. The present Minister of Finance in Nigeria today is a woman, Kehinde Akomlafe. The past one was Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. This, somebody that resigned as the MD of World Bank.
Right.
So gender has nothing to do with your limitation.
I think we should change this topic to we should all be feminists.
So please, I'm advising you young ladies, women are ruling the world intellectually. So please work on your intellect.
All right, thank you very much. Don't forget, this is the Inside Out Show. It's been a pretty intense discussion, but I hope you're learning a lot. Right after the break, we're going to hear from our audience. Stay right here. This is the Inside Out Show.
Coming up next on the show.
For you to say I am excelling, there must be an already existing platform for you. And I feel that's where Mr. Valentine is coming from.
The three basic necessities in life, which is food, clothing, and shelter, can it be properly answered as yes for everybody in Nigeria? We are already refugees, either you like it or not.
Welcome back to the Inside Out Show. We've been discussing the topic greener pastures, and it has been very, very interesting so far. And right now it's time to hear from my audience. And don't forget, if you want your voice to be heard on this show, maybe you're not in Lagos where we're recording, maybe you're in Abuja or whatever part of the country you are, feel free to go to our social media pages and leave us a comment or send us a mail. That's the Inside Out Show. Those are our pages, and we will make sure Charles is here to make sure he reads out your message. That's another way to make your voice be heard. Take advantage of our social media. All right, time to hear from the audience, starting with you. Let's hear from you.
Our Nigerian government has failed us. and not two ways about it. I believe in Nigeria, but I don't believe in Nigerian government. Neither do I believe in any project introduced or managed by Nigerian government. Do you know why? Because if you critically look at any project introduced by Nigerian government, what you see is nothing but layers and layers of deceit. And yet they keep on making us believe that there is progress. I also want to submit that nobody succeeds in life without a platform. For you to say I am excelling, there must be an already existing platform for you. And I feel that's where Mr. Valentine is coming from. From every angle, when everything you do is failure, then you keep on experiencing frustration. The kind of government we have is, they won't help you to achieve something. When you struggle to achieve your own, they will send Kai and the task force against you for whatever reason and policies they will introduce. God help us.
Very right. Okay, you have it. Okay.
My question goes to her. My question says, what do you have to say to people who have to learn a very important science subject and there is no equipment in Nigeria? Should they migrate or stay and suffer and not achieve their purpose?
Yeah. Migration is not a crime to migrate at all. We have migration policies in Nigeria. What we will say is, go through it the legally proper way. If you are an irregular migrant, you have chances of not achieving that goal or that dream that you're talking about, because you have so many dangers you are faced with over there. You are running from the law. You will become first either a victim of human trafficking, or you are also a victim for organ harvesters. So if you go through it the proper channel, you don't have any problem. It's not an offense to migrate. It's normal and it's acceptable under the law.
Let me bring it back from the preambles. She made mention of a neurosurgeon. If you look at what he said, that if we don't have enough amenities, equipment to back up what you want to do. I'm a medical practitioner. If you read that neurosurgery in Nigeria, they will not allow you to operate on anybody unless you go abroad for further studies. Secondly, if you look at what he said he was making bread or fish, I can't really remember. Chicken to make money. If he believed that would have given him a better living, then he wouldn't have traveled abroad. Look at the boys here, look at him here. Both of them, they travel abroad. That is why they are better persons today. Look at the people in the streets and look at them here now. It's because they travel abroad. That's why they are wide in knowledge and that's why they are better people.
Exposure helps though. Exposure does help. You can't take it out of the way, and that's one of the beautiful things traveling gives you, exposure.
Exposure of the mind.
Yeah, okay. Exposure of the mind. Yeah, let's have your question, please.
Thank you. This is my take. Nigeria is our country. We were born here for a purpose, and we must fulfill it. America didn't turn out to be America that it is today, and neither is the United Kingdom the country it is today. So you and I were brought here for a purpose. If we work at it and do something about it and be the change, starting with ourselves, we can change our little spheres and get to where God wants us to get. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're looking at me saying that.
I think if okay.
Quick reaction, please.
Okay. Yes, quick reaction.
Okay, let's have you.
The governments have really failed us. And on a good day, secondary school children are here. And based on what you've discussed so far, I think traveling abroad is the best thing that they will think, that they will choose on. Because today, the government, if you see the government, the old ones are still there, sitting on the throne. Why they keep on hearing the children, you are the future leaders of tomorrow. So why is this still remaining? Why will I still be here when I know the old ones are still there, not moving an inch, sitting on the throne where we are down?
For re-election.
So I think I need to go there and see the greener pasture.
Based on what she said, is it a crime? Now, is it a crime for you to travel there when you see that things are not working out well? You go there, you garner those knowledge, you garner those ideas, you make some cash, then you come here and you invest, and then you help others. The young man is coming from.
Let's have what's going on.
Aya says, Hope you are aware that there are also Nigerians that are refugees in their own country. Sesson Mustafa says, I would rather be a full citizen struggling in my country than working out during menial jobs with fear in another man's country.
Okay.
Mary says, thanks for this platform, the Inside Out Show. I would rather be a full citizen in my country than a refugee in another man's country because of the freedom and benefits I will enjoy in my country. Now, this is interesting. Ola says, I would rather be a refugee in Canada or in the USA than be a citizen in this country because there is no benefit in being a citizen of Nigeria.
Fantastic. I think the whole argument is about
we have a lot of
perception. It's just a matter of perception. If you believe that you can do very well in this country, you look at the opportunities. Israel is in the desert. They will come to Nigeria and see opportunities. When your mind is open, your eyes will be open to see into those opportunities and you will tap into them. But the truth is, so many of us have a mindset. I just want to travel abroad, even if I have to die on the Mediterranean Sea.
But they still bring engineers over there to come and do our construction work. Don't you still have big people there here that can do things, educated people?
Go to Julius Berger.
Because they believe in them more than us. So I better be a refugee out there and I'll be making the money, sacrifice for some time, come back here and be a better person than to stay here asking to be a citizen of Nigeria when nothing is coming out. Is it not like you're just existing, you're not living?
I think from the argument canvas so far,
it's sad.
Citizenship is not theoretical.
You're just existing, you're not living.
The practical definition of citizenship. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful and loyal and honest. It has to be reciprocal. The word I pledge to Nigeria, my country, the country should also pledge reciprocity to my needs. Now, the question I need to ask all of us, whether as a panelist or as a viewer, is that the three basic necessities in life, which is food, clothing, and shelter, can it be properly answered as yes for everybody in Nigeria? No. We are already refugees, either you like it or not. Nigeria, even in our own country, Nigeria is passing through all sorts of insurgency. Herdsmen are there. Do you know the fact, let me be honest with you, the way the international community is looking at a country called Nigeria now is in a very bad shape. The image of Nigeria abroad is terrible. Yeah. We must have sanctity of human lives. Imagine somebody killing and meanwhile you are expecting foreign investment. You are expecting people to come and invest in a country where sanctity of human life is negotiable. Where human lives and that of cows is at equilibrium. This is antithetical to common sense.
At this point, I'm sorry. As you're talking, you're giving me your final thoughts as well because...
yeah, let me give a quick one.
Okay.
Now, life in Nigeria itself now, presently, it's a risk. Just like you rightfully said, look at herdsmen killing people here and there. Look at people, because of the poverty rate, because of the state of the economy, people are sleeping under the bridge. People are suffering here and there. Some people don't even eat from morning to evening. And you are telling me about people falling in the Mediterranean Sea. Is it not better to take that risk, and if you succeed, you go and make yourself a better person, than to stay and be facing these hazards, this risk, for when you don't know when it's going to stop? So I believe it's better you take that bold step, go out, make yourself a better person, then when you come back here, you become impactful.
Let me hear from you, your final thoughts.
The next generation going into power or going into position, how better are they? Impactful giving. Implanting positive memories into the hearts of the next generation. If you had a president who complained at some point he didn't have shoes, and you, my brother, buy a pair of shoes for somebody else, a small boy you've seen rolling tire somewhere, right? You do not know who that guy is tomorrow. If you impact his life today positively, there will be a ripple effect in the future.
I'll tell you one thing as my parting shot, attitude. That word is magical. If you have looked at yourself as a failure, I tell you, you can't go higher than that. But where you see that, oh, today I'm sleeping under the bridge, today things are not looking right for me, and you believe that tomorrow I will be there, up high, and people that are mocking me now will come to applaud me, you will get there.
Your turn.
Education is power. All the argument canvassed so far, you'll be relevant anywhere in the world, whether in Nigeria or in abroad, if you are well informed. Our appeal to our generations, don't be lazy. Most people are no longer reading. I was not born with a silver spoon, but I've been privileged to navigate intellectually with all sort of class. So please work on your capabilities as an individual. Okay. There is always an ability in every disability. Nigeria as a country, I don't think it belongs to all of us. It belongs to a certain class. But the only way we can make it to belong to every one of us is by voting rightly. We can only vote rightly when you have something here.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, and to summarize everything, as much as I learned on this show, because I'm really looking forward to watching this clip and then learning a lot more, because I think we passed out a lot of information today. So basically, I would say that the grass is not really always greener on the other side. You can water it in Nigeria and you could be fruitful. Or if you really believe, like Valentine, that it's definitely greener, that your sunshine and your moon and your stars are abroad, please try to migrate legally. Don't go through the back door. Don't go through illegal migration. It is wrong. Whatever you do, do it for the interest of yourself and for your country. Never forget your country. That's basically what I have to say. And so this is where we call it a wrap on today's episode of the Inside Out Show. Don't forget to follow us and post your comments on our social media pages, The Inside Out Show, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, our email is right there on the screen. And our appreciation list goes to DJ Rabu, Beauty by Omalicha, Deli Foods, Fortney, Aquadana, KGM Industries Nigeria Limited. Thank you for partnering with us on this show. Until the next episode, God bless you. See you. Bye. Thank you.